Your favorite tequila brands are being sued. Don Julio and Casamigos are under fire for allegedly not being real tequila, or at least it's not made with the right kind of plant that they're advertising that they're making it with. Welcome back to yet another live stream, y'all. Sorry for the tardiness. I needed a battery in my mouse and couldn't figure that out. But we are here now. We figured it out, and we're going to be talking about this new lawsuit that came out against the makers of with Don Julio, Casamigos, and a bunch of other spirits that are pretty popular. And the big issue here is, are they lying to us, right? Like, are they actually making the tequila that they're telling us is 100% agave with agave? This lawsuit says no. And it is another lawsuit out in Florida that I haven't had a chance to look at yet, but I'm assuming it's something very similar to this one because this lawsuit does reference it. This one is in the Northern District of California, just right in San Francisco, which is close to where I am. So thank you, everyone who has joined the live stream. And let's go ahead and jump into the lawsuit and see where we go from there. Okay, let's see. Y'all, this whole mouse thing threw me off because I didn't even share my screen or nothing. So let me get my little life together and get this thing shared so that we can jump right into the lawsuit. And y'all, the crazy part of this lawsuit is they are suing under RICO. Like, have we not gotten enough RICO allegations as there is, from dealing with Diddy to dealing with, what else do we have for RICO? I feel like we had another case that was RICO as well, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. We covered Liver King last week. That was interesting. And now we're jumping right into this tequila lawsuit. And we're kind of going back into food court. Like, yes, it's alcohol, but also it is, food court. We're suing over food. So let's jump right into it. And y'all, let me know if you're watching on the live. Let me know if you heard of this lawsuit. Let me know what you think about the lawsuit as we go through it. And if you're on the replay, let me know as well. So let's share our screen and boom. Like I said, we're in the Northern District of California. We got Jacqueline Jackson suing Diageo. I think it's called Diageo. And I cannot remember, is this the same? And I meant to look it up before I got on the live stream. Is this the same company that Diddy sued that led to all, in my opinion, led to all of the mess that came about? I can't remember. I know I have the complaint somewhere, but I really can't remember if it's the same company that was sued. So this case exposes a high-stakes deception at the heart of the premium tequila market. Despite labeling and advertising Don Julio and Casamigos as 100% agave, defendant Diageo North America has been selling tequila and contains cheaper non-agave alcohol, misleading consumers across the country. And I don't know about y'all, but Casamigos and Don Julio became very popular like within the last couple of years, in my opinion, and everybody always wants to buy it. And when you go to the bar, it's a super upcharge. They're talking about like $12 a shot, which is ridiculous, but I don't know, is that how much shots are just in general? But these things it's pricey because people think that it's premium tequila. Now, I've tasted Don Julio and I've tasted Casamigo, and they are not the best tequila that I've ever had, but people seem to like to go after it. And my opinion is that it's just the trademark. I think a lot of people know it's not the best alcohol, but in this lawsuit, they're trying to say, yeah, we thought this was premium alcohol, which they do advertise it as premium alcohol. So let's keep going. Seeking to capitalize on consumers' demand for authentic, high-quality tequila, Diageo, and I hope I'm saying that right, I don't know if I'm saying that right, labels every bottle of Casamigo Blanco, Jalapeno Reposado, Cristalino, and Añejo tequila as tequila 100% agave azul. And every bottle of Don Julio Blanco, Reposado, Añejo, 70 Cristalino, Alma, Miel, Rosado, Ultima Reserva, Primavera, as 100% de agave or 100% agave. So they're saying it's made with the good stuff. It's made with the real stuff. These designations tell consumers that Casamigos Premium Tequila and Don Julio's Premium Tequila are made solely from the blue Weber agave plant with no other sugars or non-agave sources used in the fermentation process. But recent scientific testing, including nuclear magnetic resonance and isotope testing, reveals that the significant presence of non-agave sugars in Diageo premium tequila products. These findings contradict Diageo's 100% agave representation and confirms its tequila are adulterated. Are adulterated? Yes, adulterated. By falsely branding Diageo premium tequila products as 100% agave, Diageo misleads consumers, distorted the premium tequila market, and profited from the deception that violates the core principle of the consumer protection law. The lawsuit seeks to hold Diageo accountable and recover financial losses sustained by consumers who were misled by its false and misleading advertisements. Y'all got to let me know whether you guys fell for the 100% agave. If you even had Don Julio or Casamigos, I thought this was an interesting case because people really like this stuff. And to me, it's not all of that. And I think it's kind of funny that there's a lawsuit coming out letting us know that it's not all of that. I did find that it was interesting the way they described the plaintiff that's bringing this class action on behalf of all people similarly situated. So if you've ever bought a Don Julio or Casamigo thinking that it was the real deal, you can sign up for the class action and possibly get some money out of this thing if they win. So I don't have the link to where you got to sign up for the class action, but I'm sure if you Google it, you can sign up and sign up and say, hey, I bought a bottle of tequila, the Don Julio, the 100% agave that tricked me. I need my money. Get some money out of this lawsuit, y'all. But yeah, so I thought this was funny the way they described I guess they didn't describe her like this, but what they put in here. We got the plaintiff, Jacqueline Jackson, is a resident of San Francisco, California. Between April and May 2025, she purchased at least 4 bottles of Don Julio Blanco tequila at Safeway and Total Wine in Daly City, California. Why are we buying 4 bottles of tequila within a 2-month span? That's a lot of tequila, girl. I don't know what you was out there doing, but 4 bottles of tequila in 2 months it's a little bit up there. Y'all can let me know if I'm wrong by that, but that seems like a little bit excessive in my opinion. I guess it's not excessive, but it does seem like a lot, right? When purchasing the Diageo premium tequila products, plaintiff Jackson saw and relied on Diageo's 100% agave label claims. Now, what I will say about this lawsuit and all the other food court lawsuits that we file when they say, well, it told me it was real cheese and it wasn't real cheese. Remember the macaroni and cheese one with the Crafts that we did with Crafts macaroni and cheese. And they're like, oh, well, we relied that it will be ready in 3 minutes or whatever the argument was. Nobody's reading that packaging. I do not for 1 second believe that this girl went into the store and said, you know what, this one says 100% agave, blue agave. I think her friends talked about Don Julio. There's popular songs that talk about Don Julio, and she bought it because of what was in the song. But I'm not going to knock the lawsuit. That's just my opinion. I highly doubt that they relied on the 100% agave. While I do think there are people out there that rely on those kind of things, I just don't think this is one of those situations. I could just be making something up off the top of my head, but hey, y'all, let me know if y'all think they relied on it. Nonetheless, if they relied on it, they definitely shouldn't be putting false information on tequila bottles for those that are actually relying. Not saying that I did kind of say that she didn't actually rely on it, but also there are people that actually rely on it. So maybe I should stop saying that. Okay, let's get into the common facts and actual allegations common to all of the causes of action. So in the United States, the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau regulates tequila under this code section, which governs labeling, packaging, and advertising distilled spirits. Section 5 defines tequila as an agave spirit with a distinctive product of Mexico, And agave spirit is a distinctive product of Mexico and requires that it be made in Mexico in compliance with the law and regulations of Mexico governing the manufactured tequila for consumption of the country. Under the Mexican law, tequila is regulated by the official Mexican standard. They're going to abbreviate that as NOM, which sets detailed requirements for the production, labeling, and marketing of tequila. The tequila NOM defines two categories of tequila based on the percentage of agave sugar content: 100% agave and tequila or mixto. To qualify as 100% agave, a tequila's fermentation may not be enhanced with sugars other than those obtained by the Tequilana Weber Blue variety agave. These products must be labeled using one of the following statements: 100% de agave, 100% puro de agave, 100% agave, or 100% puro agave. They all sound the same, but they're just saying 100% agave in different ways, to which the word azul, blue, may be added. In contrast, mixto tequilas may contain up to 49% non-agave sugars, typically from sugarcane. And they also talk about corn as well, which I didn't know they pulled corn sugar to make some tequilas. So I learned a lot about tequila in just reading this document. So you're not real tequila unless it says 100% blue agave, or if it says blue agave, whatever. But it's not the authentic 100%. You're not supposed to use that if you don't have 100% pure. I guess it has to be more than the 50%, because it says that in contrast, mixto tequilas may contain up to 49% non-agave sugars, typically from sugarcane. So no. The 100% agave has to have 100% agave, and then you're considered tequila if you have up to 49%. But when you go over that, I don't know what it is if you don't hit that 100% mark. I don't know what it is. Okay. The tequila NOM classifies tequilas based on their characteristics after distillation. For example, tequila may be classified as blanco or plata, also known as silver, joven or oro, gold, reposado, aged, anejo, extra anejo, ultra aged. Okay. I don't know the difference between ultra and extra, but there apparently is a difference there. To prevent adulteration, the tequila NOM imposes strict documentation requirements. For example, under Section 6, authorized producers of tequila are required to maintain updated records of at least the following documents: invoices and documents confirming the purchase of the raw materials, documents confirming raw material input and output, documents confirming the movement of the finished product, inventories of raw materials and finished product, including specifically finished product allocated to aging or bottling. The organization that takes charge of ensuring compliance with the tequila NOM is the Consejo Regulador. Yeah, now I'm over here trying to speak Spanish. Girl, get off the internet. Del Tequila AC, which they're going to abbreviate as CRT to save my non-speaking Spanish self. Okay, or the Tequila Regulatory Council. One of the CRT's primary objectives is to guarantee the authenticity of tequila to the consumer. According to its website, the CRT is approved by the General Bureau of Standards, the Ministry of Economy, and is accredited by the Mexican accreditation entity AC to perform its duties as an inspection unit, testing laboratory, and certification body. So there is this entity that is supposed to approve what is the premium tequila, the 100% agave. You shouldn't be marking your bottles with 100% agave unless you pass these certifications, and what these people are accusing them of not having these certifications. And we're going to see why. Although CRT presents itself as a regulatory body, it is not a government entity. Rather, it is a private nonprofit organization composed of members from across the agave tequila production chain, including agave growers, tequila producers, bottlers, distributors, marketers, and government liaisons. Notably, CRT's board of directors includes, this is why we're getting in trouble, the board of directors includes Diageo Mexico Commercialization Daughter, Diageo Mexico. Right now, we're suing Diageo North America. But the people that manage the board is just the Diageo company, but the Mexican entity of it. So that's interesting. Let's keep going. As first vice president, Brown-Forman Tequila Mexico. As second vice president, and Distillora Gonzalez as treasurer. These three entities, along with other tequila producers such as Tequila San Matias de Jalisa, Tequila Soaze, all these other people, okay? We're not focusing on them. In effect, the very companies that the CRT purports to regulate are the ones running it. So we're being ran. The company that's supposed to certify whether it's 100% agave is being ran by the companies that are trying to be certified as 100% agave. And it really also comes down to like a trademark issue as well, which we'll get into in just a little bit. So let's keep going. In a lawsuit filed in the Middle District of Florida earlier this year, CRT described itself as the only body accredited and approved under Mexican law to inspect, analyze, and certify compliance with the tequila NOM. Let's see. In addition to certifying compliance with the tequila NOM, the lawsuit explains that CRT is also responsible for substantiating fact-based claims on labels of tequila, such as whether a product is made from 100% agave or whether the tequila meets the criteria for being classified as Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Among its core responsibilities, the CRT is required to conduct extensive inspections throughout the tequila production chain, beginning with the verification that only Blue Weber agave cultivated within the designated geographical region is used. Under the continuous verification provision of the tequila NOM, which are intended to assess compliance with tequila authenticity requirements, the CRT is further charged with monitoring production practices on site, including cooking, fermentation, distillation, yeah, I guess that's how you say it, and aging. Aside from the inspection and continuous verification procedures, the CRT is also required to perform laboratory testing of tequila samples to verify key physiochemical parameters such as alcohol content, sugar concentration, and the presence of non-permitted additives. According to the CRT website, its laboratory plays a crucial role in the tequila certification process by providing accurate and reliable results. These tests are supposed to help ensure that only authentic, unadulterated tequila is certified for domestic and international sale. Notably, the CRT also owns the incontestable federal registration for certification mark tequila. Because CRT holds the U.S. certification marker, only producers certified by the CRT can legally use the term tequila on products sold in the United States. In other words, CRT's control over the U.S. certification mark, combined with the role under Tequila NOM, makes it the sole gatekeeper for what qualifies as 100% agave tequila under both Mexican and U.S. law. This monopoly gives CRT significant influence over producers, including foreign companies like Diageo, by conditioning market access on CRT certification. Now, this has come up for a lot of people where they're talking about wanting tequila with no additional additives because we learned that, you know, these companies do this. And now we're learning that this company or this nonprofit that's supposed to certify whether things are actually tequila or not is ran by the biggest tequila brands that are marketing themselves as premium and profiting off of increasing the cost of tequila, because tequila is expensive now, y'all. So what happens when you own a certification mark? You are the person that gets to decide who gets to be certified. This is the same thing when we see items labeled as organic. What qualifies for a fruit to be organic, right? So those type of certification marks, it's really just a person over it, or not a person, an entity over it saying, oh, well, we like this company, so yeah, we'll slap organic on this, or yeah, we'll slap tequila on this. Or they can say, no, I don't like this company. I don't want them to compete with us. They are actually 100% tequila, agave tequila, and I don't want to have to compete with them and people to taste the difference between the 100% and mine. So no, you're not going to get a certification, which is an interesting concept to me, and it always has been under the trademark law. Part of the law is, why do we have certification marks? Because you can literally just be like 100% cayenne. No, it's just literally that you have a trademark to say tequila or say 100% cayenne or to say organic. We don't really know if it's organic. Only the actual board that's supposed to be certifying it knows whether it is actual tequila, like we're learning in this lawsuit. And the people that are telling us that it's actually tequila are the people that are the owner of the certification. So that is interesting. And I can see why these people are suing, even though I doubted them in the beginning, okay? Tequila's popularity soars as consumers embrace premium 100% agave labels. Because tequila labeling is strictly regulated, or supposed to be strictly regulated, the 100% agave designation signals authenticity, purity, and compliance with both US and Mexican standards. It is more than a technical term. It is a powerful marketing tool that shapes consumers' expectations and drives growth in the premium tequila market. A recent Forbes article reports that premium tequila sales have grown 1,270% since 2003, with super premium brands up 1,500% over the same period. This surge reflects a shift. Consumers are no longer chasing volume, but instead seeking high-quality craft spirits rooted in traditional production methods and ingredient purity, which we should be doing, but sometimes that costs too much, right? This premiumization is what they're calling it. This premiumization trend hinges on consumers' trust in origin and production claims. Premium tequilas are marketed on their use of 100% Blue Weber agave, traditional harvesting and distillation, and deliberate aging. Consumers see these traits as markers of a superior product and are willing to pay more for bottles bearing these designations. In this context, the 100% agave label functions as shorthand for authenticity and value, which is true. The premiumization trend is especially strong among younger consumers. According to Grandview researchers, 54% of consumers aged 34 and under prefer premium tequilas, citing taste, production integrity, and brand authenticity as major factors. Well, aren't they going to be shocked when they find out that this premium tequila is not actually premium tequila while they're citing the taste? Yeah, I can see why people would be mad about that. This demographic, accustomed to researching products before buying them, relies heavily on labels like 100% agave to assess quality. Tequilas labeled 100% agave often demand significantly higher prices than mixto alternatives. This price premium reflects both the increased cost of using only Blue Weber agave and the value consumers place on purity and traditional production methods. Researchers show that consumers are not just buying tequila, they are buying the label. They are buying what the label represents: authenticity, craftsmanship, and adherence to cultural and regulatory standards. Now, tequila is one of my favorite spirits. It's probably my top favorite spirit. I have never bought tequila with the idea of wanting to, say that it's authenticity and craftsmanship and adherence. But what I have bought tequila on is based on the brand. This brand is typically good. This brand does not give me headaches. I don't think about the additives. I am getting to the age where I am going to start thinking about the additives, but also I honestly don't think most people under 34 are saying, I want authentic tequila. I want Don Julio to act a Fulio. That's what we get Don Julio for. I shouldn't have said that. But either way it goes, there's popular songs that are promoting these types of alcohol. And I get the point of the lawsuit, because you can say whatever in a lawsuit and you can prove it, because they aren't going to be able to have the facts to back up that it is 100% agave. So you're going to get some money. But really, how many of us are out there talking about, I want the craftsmanship of the tequila? I'm just looking for something that don't give me a headache. Yeah, that's all I'm doing. The regulatory standards. I don't think about the regulatory standards. It's on the shelf already. But hey, you can get a lawsuit. You can sue for anything. So let's keep going. The 100% agave label has become a cornerstone of brand positioning in the premium and super premium tequila markets. In an increasingly crowded spirit landscape, producers use this designation to stand apart from mass-produced alternatives and to appeal to consumers seeking high-quality artisanal products. The label helps justify higher prices, secure shelf space in upscale retailers, and earn consumer trust. Without the credibility of this claim, brands risk losing both prestige and profit. I don't know. I think even with this lawsuit, Don Julio and Casamigo is still going to be at the top of people's list of the tequila that they want when they go out, because it's already been positioned as being this premium tequila. Diageo misrepresents its flagship tequila as 100% agave to command premium prices. Casamigo and Don Julio, both owned and marketed by Diageo, have aggressive. Can I read? No. Casamigos and Don Julio, both owned and marketed by Diageo, have aggressively leveraged 100% agave claim to justify premium prices and secure market dominance. Their reputation and sales depend on promises of agave purity, but those representations are false. In 2017, Diageo acquired Casamigos, a super premium tequila brand co-founded in 2013 by George Clooney, Randy Gerber, and Mike Meldman, in a deal valued up to $1 billion. That's a lot of money. This acquisition reflected the brand's rapid rise and premium position. And my question would be, when they did that, because when these companies get bought, they start to look for like these cheaper ways to make the product while still profiting 10 times over. So I wonder if these original founders, since it sounds like they bought them out, do they know that this is all going on and it's being put onto their name? Or are they still a part of the company and doing this? This lawsuit didn't go that deep into it, but with there being an acquisition, I'm assuming that they took them out, or they're just kind of like, we still get money out of the sales, essentially. So I wonder if it was originally 100% agave, and then the people that bought it started doing cheap things. Like we see that with hair products all the time. We see it with makeup products all the time. Once they're acquired, they're not as good of quality because they are able to mass produce things. In other words, make it cheaper. And maybe they take some shortcuts that the original founders didn't want them to do. At the time, Diageo described Casamigos as the fastest growing super premium tequila brand in the US. By 2023, Casamigo has become the world's famous largest tequila brand, with global cases sales topping 3 million. On the official Casamigos website, in a section entitled Our Tequila Process, Diageo claims, we hand-selected the finest 100% Blue Weber agave grown in rich clay soil of Mexico. Doubling down on the claim, Diageo also includes 100% Blue Weber agave in much larger bold font. The claim carries through to the label. The claim carries through to the label. Every bottle of Casamigo premium tequila is stamped with tequila 100% agave azul, as shown in the screenshots below. So we see it. They kind of put a red box around it so that we can see it easier. And it's just saying this is 100% blue agave, when in fact this lawsuit is saying that it's not. Don Julio, also owned by Diageo, has played a major role in the company's expansion in the luxury tequila market. In fiscal year 2023, Don Julio sales grew by 20%, outpacing Casamigos, which grew by 16%. And y'all don't want to give none of the credit to freaking rap music? Come on. You got to give some credit to rap music. 2023 to 2024, that's when everybody was rapping about it. Come on. They acting like they haven't heard the song. Okay. By 2024, Don Julio had become the best-selling tequila brand in the U.S. by retail value. On its official website, Diageo called Don Julio Blanco tequila in its truest form. And it's not. Okay. And the base from which all of Don Julio's other variants are derived. Just below this statement, Diageo claims that Don Julio Blanco tequila is made from 100% Blue Weber agave. Diageo makes the same claim on the web pages for its Reposado, Anejo, 70 Cristalino, Alma Miel, Rosado, I never even had Rosado. 1942 Ultima Reserva and Primavera tequilas. Consistent with the online claims, every bottle of Don Julio premium tequila includes 100% de agave or 100% agave on the labels as shown in the screenshots below. They were getting a little artistic with it. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I don't be looking at that little thing. Like, come on now. There's no way I'm looking at that. But some people do. I should be quiet just because we might buy Don Julio to act a Julio. Maybe everybody else buys it because they think it's the most premium thing on the market. It's not. And I think if you go on any Reddit forum for tequila with no additives, they're going to call Don Julio out every single time. Every single time. Casamigos, freaking Jose Cuervo. Pretty much all the big name tequila brands in America are not premium tequilas from what I've learned on the Reddit. But hey, who am I? I'm just a girl on the internet with a mic, okay? Diageo knew that the Diageo premium tequila products were not made from 100% agave and that its labeling and marketing was false, misleading, and unlawful. The market increasingly defined by premiumization. Label integrity is not optional, it is essential. The 100% agave designation is a material representation that consumers rely on to select a product that matches the value and expectation. Misusing the 100% agave label is not just a technical violation, it distorts consumers' choice and marketplace competition. It allows Diageo to unjustly profit from the pricing power, trust, and loyalty typically reserved for authentic products. In a segment where small batch producers and traditional distillers uphold rigorous standards, misuse of the 100% agave label by mass market brands dilute the label value and harms both consumers and honest competitors. For dominant players like Diageo, this is not just deceptive, it's a calculated strategic misuse of market power, which I have to agree. Let's not forget from the beginning of the live stream, Diageo Mexico is over the entity or one of the vice presidents of the entity that certifies whether something is 100% agave. It's messed up. They should not be able to do that, but that's what happens when you allow certification of marks. Hey, if I want to say I'm 100% agave and I own the certification, who's going to stop me? Who's monitoring the monitoring entity? No one. We're just trusting them. And we're allowing the tequila makers to be a part of the people that certify the tequila, which I mean, I guess it makes sense because you have to have the experience in tequila, but still. Okay. And then it goes into the science of how they make it and they isolate the stuff. And some tequilas use corn sugar and other tequilas use sugar cane. And that's basically like the cheap stuff. They tried to stop people from bringing in and they saw that they were actually using the cheap stuff, the sugar cane distilled agave or the tequila mix. All of that stuff went on. I'm not going to go into it because it's like very technical and I didn't understand it when I read it. So I'm not going to bore y'all with it. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just bored myself with it, but I'm not going to bore y'all with it. So in short, let's just get to the summary after they explain to us what they do. Casamigo Blanco, very popular tequila that they're going to charge you $12 a shot for at the bar. Okay. Even though the bottle costs what, $30-some? How much does a Casamigo bottle cost? Is it $60? I don't know. Casamigo Blanco, they estimated 33% of it was agave-derived ethanol, meaning only 30% agave, 33% agave was used. Remember, we got to be over the 50% mark, right? For Casamigo Reposado, the darker kind, agave derived was 42%. So only 42% agave, right? We got Don Julio 1942 Blanco, which they charge an arm and a leg for. We're probably getting upwards to a $20 per shot, if not more. We got 42% of the agave. And then we have 1942 or not Don Julio 1942 Añejo, another alcohol that they charge an arm and a leg for at the bar or even at a restaurant, 33%. So y'all are charging these high prices for it not to even be considered 100% agave, but you're slapping 100% agave on there. So none of the tested samples came close to the threshold for ethanol derived entirely from agave sugars. In fact, all four fell well below 50%, strongly indicating that most of the alcohol in these products came from non-agave sources like corn or sugarcane. Which, again, that's so weird to me to think about corn being in my tequila. Okay. These findings directly contradict the prominent 100% agave labels on Diageo premium tequila products and confirm that Diageo representations are materially false and misleading. The numerous reports details widespread tequila adulteration allegation. So it goes on. Plaintiff's isotope testing reflects a broader concern within the tequila industry. The adulteration with non-agave alcohol is not only happening, but far more widespread than consumers realize. In January 2025, the Mexican business publication reported large-scale protests by thousands of agave growers who accused major tequila producers of diluting their products with non-agave inputs, such as cane alcohol. These allegations were substantiated by the Consejos Mexicano del Agave, a national organization representing agave farmers, which confirmed that adulteration with cane-based spirits is both ongoing and widespread. On January 13, 2025, Mezcalitas, a respected industry site, published an article accusing the CRT, the very organization charged with preserving tequila's integrity, of being corrupt, a league with big tequila, and tactically supporting monopolistic practices that squeeze out small farmers. So we see who's really pushing this lawsuit for it. The small farmers are being backed by consumers, and hopefully there will be a change, right? The article claims that the CRT has been turning a profit by allowing some tequila corporations to mix cane or corn alcohol in tequila that's then labeled as 100% agave. These alarming charges are reportedly backed by eyewitness accounts from agave farmers who have seen trucks delivering cane alcohol to distilleries and have gathered enough proof to merit a government investigation. In a second Mezcalitas article published January 15, 2025, Salvador Ibarra, I don't know, I'm saying that right. Landeros, the president of the Union Campesino Agarrera. The girl that shouldn't be speaking Spanish on internet, okay? You can barely read in English. They stated the tequila industry is regulated by the very same people who own distilleries. The government has put the power in the hands of they have put the power in the hands of the CRT, which is an organization created for the businessmen. The people that work at CRT respond to the orders of their bosses, the businessmen who appointed them. That's how these crimes happen. The same article reported that the agave farmers had planned to block tanker trucks from entering the tequila region to prove that cane alcohol was being delivered to distilleries. The tankers could be viewed as evidence of foul play. The article explained because cold mixing and adding cane or corn alcohol to tequila is illegal under any circumstances. Protest organizers ultimately dialed back this action by recently elected Governor Pablo Lemus Navarro agreed to convene with the agave farmers, the tequila executives, and CRT to work on a solution. The governor, however, failed to attend the promised meeting. When asked for his response, the spokesperson stated, "The truth is the tequila industry, the governor of the state, and the CRT are colluding." So that not the governor is in on it too. I mean, are we surprised? Are we really surprised? Yesterday, I saw clearly that there is a human power on this earth that can get rid of the corruption of the nest of vipers. So they're basically saying that everyone in charge is colluding, they're working together in order to basically pull off the scam, which makes sense because tequila sales is probably a big money maker for Mexico. Like, are we really surprised that this is happening when you can get American dollars for a product from a country that the economy or the dollar is worth so much money in their economy? I mean, can we really blame them? That's the question. Yes, we can blame them. You shouldn't be doing that. But they're also not U.S. citizens. So it's going to be hard to go after them criminally. So we have to go after them legally, civilly, right? So don't sell in the United States anymore, which will hurt their bottom line. It then goes on to talk about tolling, which is basically if any statute of limitations has expired because they've been doing this for years, the plaintiff shouldn't be held to that standard of the statute of limitations because they're just now finding out about it. And with the need to do the testing, which like I told you, we already skipped over what was required for the testing because it is so complex. Us regular people aren't going to be able to distill or separate that. What are they called? Isotopes? Whatever it's called, to isolate the stuff. We're not going to be able to do that in our kitchens, right? You need an actual laboratory to do it. So basically saying that if the statute of limitation has expired, they shouldn't be held to that standard. Okay. And y'all, so this is a class action lawsuit that they're filing on behalf of themselves. Jacqueline is the plaintiff in the case, and she's filing on behalf of herself and the people that are similarly situated to her, which means that there is probably a link somewhere out there on Google for if you have ever bought Don Julio or Casamigos. If you have bought any of those things in the whatever the time frame is, I don't know if at this time this says the time frame. It should. Then you might get some money. It may not be a lot of money, but you could get some money back if you ever bought Don Julio within the time frame. So let's go ahead and check out what are some of the things that you have to be a part in order to be a part of this. Okay. And so they're saying that the class action is the best option because it's going to create judicial efficiency for a lot of people that have been fooled by, Don Julio. Okay. So the predominant common questions are whether Diageo made specific claims to consumers that its Diageo tequila products are tequila 100% agave, 100% de agave, and or 100% agave. Whether Diageo knew the Diageo premium tequila products labeled 100% agave were adulterated with non-agave alcohol. Whether Diageo's conduct violates RICO and consumer protection statutes that constitute fraudulent concealment as alleged herein. Whether Diageo engaged in a pattern or practice of racketeering as alleged herein. Whether plaintiff and class members overpaid for Diageo premium tequila products. Whether plaintiff and class members are entitled to equitable relief, and whether plaintiff and class members are entitled to damages and other monetary relief, and if so, what amount. They say the alcohol. Let me see. Usually they have the dates of which you had to buy it in order to certify to be a class member, but I am not seeing that. So that might be a reason why this class action can't go forward, because how are we supposed to identify the class members if there's no time period? How far are we going back with whether you bought the Don Julio or the Casamigos? Okay. And then they go through the causes of action, which, like I said, it's racketeering and conspiracy. They basically are saying the governor is involved in it. They're getting together and they're coming up with this plan in order to trick people and say, hey, look, we have 100% agave tequila, but we're going to sell it to you at a premium price, but it's actually not a premium product. And basically you're tricking people into it. And that is a crime because we have the certification for a reason. There are laws in Mexico and America where you have to have the 100%. There are, standards to meet the 100% agave requirement in order to market your product in that way. And they have not done that, which is a violation of a crime. And that is why they're calling it a RICO. Okay. It's just like they give a lot of the facts. That's why I'm not rereading it, y'all. Okay. Let's see here. They go on to say some of the predicate acts involved mail fraud, which we talked about predicate acts in the Diddy case, right? Mail fraud. So they were sending and receiving or causing to be sent and receive material via U.S. mail or commercial interstate carriers for the purpose of executing the unlawful scheme to defraud by producing, verifying, bottling, labeling, certifying, marketing, advertising, and selling Diageo premium tequila products by means of false pretenses, misrepresentation, promises, and omissions, Also with the wire fraud, transmitting or receiving or causing to be transmitted materials to wire execute the unlawful scheme, which includes all that other stuff, the marketing and everything. And then so they're saying their predicate acts are the like sending the labels across state lines, I'm guessing. Something of that nature, saying that they knew it was all unlawful and they did it anyways. And the big reason why we're having this lawsuit is we know it's a civil lawsuit. We want money. And so what the argument is that the plaintiff overpaid for Diageo's premium tequila products at the time of purchase. Plaintiff would not have purchased Diageo premium tequila products if Diageo truthfully disclosed the products were adulterated with non-agave alcohols and therefore not 100% agave. Alternatively, plaintiffs would not have paid a premium for the Diageo premium tequila products if proper disclosures had been made. I would not have either spent the money or I would not have spent as much money. I would have went for an actual premium tequila company instead of y'all, Don Julio, Active Julio, okay? Plaintiff has been wrongfully deprived of their property in the deliberate misrepresentation, omissions, and concealment artificially inflated the price of the Diageo premium tequila products. And they go on to say it's a violation of the code section. And then it goes down and talks about a violation of the consumers. You need to know what goods are being marketed to you. We know that they didn't do that. Again, it's all kind of misrepresentation. The other one, false advertising. You falsely told me that it was 100% agave when it actually wasn't. Unfair competition. This one a little bit confused me because I guess this one really goes as to the farmers. I don't see how they're going to win on unfair competition when we're talking about the actual consumers. They're not the ones, competing with them. They're not selling tequila, so I don't know how they're going to succeed on that one. Like they don't have standing to sue on that one. And then the unjust enrichment, basically by them telling the consumers that it was 100% agave, they took our money. Otherwise, we wouldn't have normally bought it. And then, of course, they asked for all the normal things. Money, punitive damages for them not to do it anymore because there's no way to determine what the damages are going to be if they continue to be able to do this. And then they are going to want some interest and everything on their money. So that is the tequila lawsuit. Don Julio, Casamigos being sued for basically falsely advertising that it was 100% tequila, which I think is very interesting. Very interesting. Like I said, I like tequila. I never thought of Casamigos and Don Julio as top tier, other than the fact that they sell it as top tier in the bar or in the restaurants or whatever. They charge you a premium price for it. And of course, the bottle is a lot more expensive than a lot of other tequilas. My husband and I, we just kind of get Costco tequila because it's literally the same thing, and we don't waste a lot of money on it because it's the same thing for a lot cheaper price, because that's probably the price they should be charging anyways, which maybe means that the Kirkland ones should be a little cheaper too. I don't know. So let's see what the Beehive has to say about this. We had Joe W popping in early saying hello, and welcome in. We got me letting everyone know I was having technical difficulties, and that's why I started late. Kimmy Locker, member, moderator, consultant, paralegal of the channel, says, hello, Beehive. Don't forget to hit the like and confirm you're still subscribed. Yes, of course. Please do that. Thank you for the reminder. Kimmy is saying, gracious me, alcohol has so many intricacies. I did not know it was that complicated. But honestly, maybe I should have, because I've been to not a lot, but I've been to a couple of wine tours where they describe this kind of stuff. So maybe I should have known. But I don't know. The whole fermenting process to me is weird, and it happens. It has to happen for all the alcohol. So it's a lot to it. And like I said, the whole complication of how they do it, I was confused reading it, and I didn't want to confuse y'all, confuse me even further of how they do it. But they basically like test how much of it is actually 100% agave. Cheryl C, moderator of the channel, welcome back, saying, hey everyone, it's been so long since I have been able to catch a live stream. That's no problem. We're happy to have you back. Welcome in. Nice to see you. Kimmy saying, good to see you to Cheryl. Cheryl saying, due to the popularity of agave as a sweetener and the boom of tequila, agave has become very difficult to source. Brands are going to have to make changes eventually, reflected on the label, of course. Yeah. But they're not. And that's what I'm thinking too. There's so many different tequila brands. There's no way there's this much agave in Mexico. Like, that's what I was thinking when I was reading it. So thank you for pointing that out, Cheryl, because I completely let it slip my mind. But yeah, I think tequila is very popular. If you go to Mexico, they're always going to have a, tequila tasting thing of we make the best tequila. It's the real tequila. Are we not getting certified because, Don Julio, Diageo is over everything. So we can't get certified even though we have better quality stuff than them. And like they said, the small agave farmers, they're probably, just not buying from them, which is the living that they're making, what they do to make a living. They're not buying with them and just taking the cheaper route as this large company that can do so. So yeah, I would love to see how that happens because tequila is very popular. Kimmy Lockett says, interesting. I wonder what they'll end up doing. I don't know. I think they're just going to keep doing it because guess what? I haven't heard anybody talk about this lawsuit. My sister ended up sending it to me on Instagram. Somebody made a video about it, but I haven't really seen I haven't seen anyone else talk about it. And that one had to be sent to me because my sister knows that I like this kind of legal stuff. So this lawsuit will probably just get swept under the rug. Like I said, I haven't even seen the Florida one that's similar to this. It's probably going to get swept under the rug. They're going to pay the class members a couple of dollars, and they're probably going to keep doing it, right? Or they're just going to change the look. Why am I getting like dizzy? Or they're just going to change the law and make the requirements a little bit lower for it to be considered the 100% agave or for it to be considered tequila. Chelsea says, to be fair, regardless of the ingredients, if someone says they like the taste, that's fine. The issue here is the labeling and branding, but people can like what they like. Exactly. That I agree with that. My point is that I don't think a lot of people read the labels. I know I don't. I know I don't. And I do want to get into getting the more non-additive type of tequila, but I think a lot of people don't read it. But the fact that you can sue over it just makes for an easy way to sue. But no, I definitely agree. And the question is, would they pay just because they like the taste? Would they pay that premium price? I honestly think they would still pay the premium price because it's already been marketed as a premium tequila. People think that it tastes good, and we're also talking about the label on it. It's basic trademark, right? I don't think people are grabbing that saying, "Oh, it's 100% agave," because most people that talk about the tequila with no additives know that Don Julio is a fraud, right? But when we're talking about the people that are going out and buying it because they think that it's premium tequila, is because they probably saw their friend have it and their friend say, "Oh, this is a really good tequila." Basically more like word of mouth versus, "Oh, I'm reading the label and this says 100% agave, so I'm going to buy it." That's my opinion, just because of, I guess, my community. I know what songs led people to start drinking that because I never seen nobody buying or drinking that before this. Like the top one was like Patron for years, even though that's probably not the best alcohol either. But yeah, I think a lot of it is more word of mouth than, "Oh, let me read the label. Oh, this is better." That's my opinion. Cheryl C says, the taste of Casamigos definitely changed after it was sold. I used to like it, but now I don't care for it. And that's what I wonder. I wonder if after it's sold, they start taking shortcuts, which it makes sense. Like, it makes sense that they would start taking shortcuts because you want to make the profit larger. Now, I don't know if that's the actual case, but it kind of seems like that might be the case. I feel like every time I have tequila, it tastes different. Honestly, every time I've had tequila recently, it's tastes worse than it has years before. So I don't know what they're doing over there with tequila over there in Mexico, but it does sound like they need to get on to the quality control side of things. So yeah, y'all, that was all that I had for today. As you will see, I am posting more shorts. It's shorts on here. Just kind of doing Am I the A-hole stories, because it's not something that I have to like really keep up with and, oh, this is the new source or whatever it may be. So y'all will see more shorts coming out. I might be switching back to doing the live streams about Am I the A-hole and stuff like that. I'll let y'all know. I don't know. I really don't know what I'm doing with the channel right now. I'll figure it out. But Thank you, everyone that has joined the live stream. Hopefully you learned something about tequila. Hopefully we are not running to Don Julio and Casamigos thinking that they are premium tequila, because we just learned today that they most likely are not, and that is why they're being sued. If I find the class action link, I will link it in the description box, so that if you have bought Casamigos or Don Julio and you want to be a part of the lawsuit, to get a little bit of change, a little bit of money, you can do so. So I'll look for that link after we get off of here. But I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and I will see y'all all on the next live stream. Bye.